Yes guys, welcome from me, Championship Manager 0102. Yet another video for you. Okay, so I am going to do, as you can probably just see in the title right there, what today's video is. So it's only a real quick one. Be in the work permit. Now, most of my saves are always England based. On ODB, I obviously have the work permits. You need to be able to get past the work permit on ODB. On the updates, I have them taken off. So a lot of people know this, but in all fairness, I didn't know this until in the last stages of CM. So basically, you obviously know that you can only have, I think, is it three non-EUs? Yeah, a maximum 3 non-EUs in a match day squad. And obviously Leeds, I've put this as Leeds. You can start Leeds. You start Leeds with 1 or 2 anyway, Viduka. But what we'll do is we will look to purchase a couple of non-EUs. We all know he's a non-EU. We all know the legendary Maximum Sigalko. So we will just chuck in, and we'll just chuck a 5 million bid. That should be sufficient to get him. And we will also do that guy, one of my go-to players. You won't get him on a work permit. It's totally different, of course, if you weren't in England, because not all countries have the work permit requirements, but England clearly does. And the reason I've gone to those 2 players, because particularly Arcadius back, he's always one of my go-to players. Sigalko, not really. I don't. It's a tough one. It's a touchy subject with with Sigalko, because part of me thinks he's a little bit of an orthodox player. Some people say he is a player, he is part of the game. It's each to their own on that. My brother always buys him, and I'm against it, so it's quite strange, really. Okay, so here we go then. Arcadius back. I wanted to make sure I started it with Germany's date, so we could get this deal done. You'll still need, so make sure you are offering them. This is all you've got to do, right? Make sure you're offering them 35 grand a week. So in line of offering them 35 grand a week, you've got to make sure you're offering them indispensable or important. Because if you offer them squad rotation, your limit of weekly wage might not reach 35. It could even reach that, and that is a shitter, because obviously you're only 500 short. So 35 grand a week, that's all you've got to do. Now, providing, of course, no one else comes against me on back, which they probably shouldn't. Same with Sigalko, you will get them. And there we go, Sigalko, the offer's been accepted. So again, make sure you offer indispensable or important, because you probably won't get him at squad rotation. And it is £35,000 a week. Now, I'm speaking purely for England, because someone's told me before 35 don't work, but it does, and you'll see it work. So Sigalko's agreed terms, but he has to go through the work permits. What are we at? 6th of July. So this should come through. If I flick through this should come through roughly around the 27th, 28th of July. And hopefully the Arcadius back deal will go through as well. I had to set up a game on a maximum database. And the reason I've set it on a maximum database is because on a minimum, Sigalko's not in the game. I obviously started with Germany as my start league, and the reason I did Germany was, as I said, was to get a couple of extra weeks pre-season. And Arcadius back has signed, he will sign. So, like I said, there's certain non-EU players that you will get because they meet the requirements of the work permits. I think, let's take Ibrahim Saeed and Taribo West. Both of them, you'll get them just offering whatever wage they want. You'll go through the waiting a few weeks awaiting a decision, but you will get them. But then, of course, there's those players. I mean, I remember reading about work permits. Ever wondered, when I first saw an app to get rid of the work permits, the caption was, ever found that wonder kid in Brazil who's 18 years old, but he doesn't have no Portuguese passport or anything, and you can't get him. So when I first took off the work permits on the latter versions of CM, I used this, they called it an EEC hack. Nowadays in Nick's latest patches with the updates, you don't need that third party, it's all put within. But as I said, on the ODB, I keep it as ODB as it was back then. like I said before in several of the videos, I'm still using a dinosaur of a laptop, and you know, the bottom line is it's not as quick. Now when I'm doing demonstration games, I tend to put it into minimum database because it's quicker. But obviously, as I just explained, why I had to put it on maximum and why I had to load Germany. But it's going relatively fast enough for us to. I mean, we've already got a few more days to go, and obviously I've chose Leeds. I've not listed any players. I've not done anything like that. It's just purely for the benefit of getting a deal done before the season starts, for the benefit of the speed of this video. Obviously, your maximum of 3 non-ECs is still a fact. It's still it's still a real fact. So whilst I brought back and whilst I'll purchase, shall I say, back and Sigalko, I've still got Viduka. That'd be quite a lethal strike force, wouldn't it? And as you already know, the non-EUs isn't applicable on European games, but there is a real question mark, right? To defy if he wanted I mean, you saw back wanted 23 grand, I offered 35 grand. You could argue, hang on a minute, it's almost cheating, and it's a tough one, really. It's a tough one. I don't want to say it's cheating, because I think cheating is a bit of a strong word. What would you put it? It's a way. It's beating the work permit, and you know, let's be honest. In reality, and that's what I try to always relate to. In reality, in football, there's always ways that things have been beaten one way or the other. Let's look at financial fair play. Who was it? Was it Man City? How they got around the financial fair play? Their sponsorship was the name of their stadium, and so they were able to pump more money of income in from their sponsorship. But they beat the system almost. Okay, so we are at the 25th of July. So we will see Maximum Sigalko, and a couple of days later, Arcadius back join Leeds United. Obviously, I knew 5 million should get accepted for both of those, to be fair. But if I didn't know that, or if you haven't got the money, you've got to take into account, right? Particularly with someone like Sigalko, if you're playing as a smaller range team, other teams will come against you. But on the flip of that, you've got to be able to offer 35 grand a week. So if I was to, there we go. Okay, so okay, okay, that's interesting, isn't it? So the Arcadius back has come through first, and yet Sigalko. So Arcadius back has been granted a conditional work permit for this move. Now let me just point out, this will also apply if you have like Viduka. Let's pretend Viduka starts on less than 35 grand a week, and he won't sign a new contract, because he won't. You just offer a new contract of 35 grand a week. Okay, so Arcadius back. I think that's bizarre. That was. I don't know if it was because it was in Poland, maybe. I don't know. But Arcadius back has been granted, and we'll see. Arcadius back. Look at that. What a fucking monster! And you can see Sigalko has been granted a work permit. So we'll see that go through. We'll see Sigalko. The only thing that can scupper those deals is an injury, like a medical failure of some kind. But even then, there's actually a way around that, and I'll save that for another video. A way to beat medicals being failed. So you could theoretically purchase a player who's out for a year. There is a way. But again, in reality, would a team purchase a player that's out for a year? Well, who knows? Okay, I don't know. Real Madrid did buy Michael Owen, didn't they? Okay, so there we go. Maximum Sigalko. They haven't celebrated it because he's not well known enough. So 4.5. So there you go. Sigalko and Arcadius back are both down there. Yeah. So there you go. That's how you beat the work permit. But as I said, it's really important that you've just got to be able to offer 35 grand a week. Now, obviously, as a big club, as a top flight club, you've got to have that. I mean, you could, I guess if you don't, you could, I suppose, you could ask for extra funds available. Maybe. I've never really tried that. You never know. Extra wages, shall I say, funds for wages. You never know. I mean, I have done the youth development in respect of this here. I don't really ever get sacked. I don't ever ask for extra time to rebuild the squad. But I don't know. It's quite interesting. Okay, and that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got anything to add, chuck it in the box down there. Anything you want doing on CM, do let us know and I'll try and do it. Till next time, guys, take it easy from me.